So maybe this is just a personal issue, but change for the sake of change really pisses me off sometimes. And Apple, why? So apparently, instead of getting iOS 19, iPad OS 19, Vision OS 3, going up consecutively, we're now going to the year, like the Madden games. So now we're getting iOS 26. We're jumping from iOS 19 to iOS 26. Some people are totally fine with it. Some people are indifferent with it. Some people love it. I think this is one of the dumbest things Apple could do. Maybe it's just because I like the consecutive numbers. iOS 19, this is 19 years since iOS first came out. Okay, or maybe around 19 years. Not exactly 19 years, but you know what I'm saying. So jumping to iOS 26, for one, that's going to confuse so many people. And for two, why? It makes no sense. Maybe if it was iOS 25, the year it came out, but just because iOS 26, because it's going to be the year that it'll predominantly be in. So Vision OS 3 is now Vision OS 26, making the big jump from Vision OS 2 to Vision OS 26. You can tell that I'm really just irritated by this. This is really, it doesn't make sense to me. So I really believe, the whole thing of, I like that it was 19 years ago, mostly, close enough, since iOS came out. I think that's really cool. It's been 11 years since watchOS came out. It's been almost 2-3 years since we've had Vision OS. I really think that's very cool. Maybe if they made macOS the number instead of some California landmark, then it would be more even. So I don't know. I don't get the idea behind it. Maybe it's just a personal thing. I've always been confused by the Madden games, but I guess because, the games come out, but it's for the next year that's not here yet. I would prefer if the game was the year of the game Madden 25, not Madden 26, for the year that it came out, not the next year. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, it doesn't matter. Maybe I'm in the wrong here. I don't know. Apple is trying to clean up their naming scheme. Apple is trying to make everything more even. I get it. It's kind of weird, iOS and iPadOS 19, Vision OS 3, watchOS 11. They want everything to be the same. But if that was the case, then why did iPad differentiate iOS and iPadOS last year or a couple years ago? Instead of just being all iOS on the iPad, now it's iPadOS, which I like that they did that. I really do. But it does just add one more operating system. So again, Apple is trying to make, it feels like a desperate move. Like last minute, Apple's like, iOS 18 was so bad, we need to remove ourselves from that. It's like when a band who's like a heavy metal band releases a pop album, everybody hates it. And so the band changes their name to further remove themselves from that album that everybody hated. That's what it's reminding me of. iOS 18 was so bad, was so hated, it was so buggy from everybody that I've heard from, that Apple just wants to remove themselves from that with iOS 19. They want to redesign everything. They want to make it look more like Vision OS, make everything look similar, which would be really cool. But then they also want to change the name to further remove itself from that. I don't know. I think that's one step too far. I think iOS 19 is a better name. And personally, I'm also of the opinion that I'm excited for iOS 37. That's 37 years since of iOS. 37 years of iOS. How cool is that? Maybe I'm in the wrong. Who knows? I was very, frustrated by the iPhone 10 technically being the iPhone 9 because there was really no iPhone 9. I just like the consecutive numbers thing. I don't know. That's just me. And so I don't know. I was never bothered by the naming scheme of anything that Apple's done. I've always thought, their names weren't the best, but they're not terrible. iPhone 16 Pro Max, iPhone 17 Pro Max. It has some kind of a structure behind it. I don't hate it. The Sony headphones, the WH-1000XM4, that's kind of dumb. That's a bit much. But iPhone 17 Pro Max, iPhone 17 Air, Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge, S25 Plus, S25 Ultra, S25. These names have a structure. It has the brand, the type of phone, the Pro, Pro Max, Plus, Edge. Then it has the model of the phone, which is 25, which is 17 for iPhones. Galaxy did this a few years ago. They went from the Galaxy S10 all the way to the S25, or I think it was S20. Went from the S10 to the S20 to match the year 2020. I didn't like that at the time, but now that we're a few years down the line, it's fine. So I don't know. In 4 years, are we going to have iOS 30? That doesn't make sense. Again, it's going to confuse 1,000 people. It's going to just rank the numbers up higher, even though it doesn't matter. So we have a lot of different things, a lot of different issues. I think this is the dumbest thing in the world. Some people probably think it's fine. I don't think Apple needs a rebranding. I think they should just own that iOS 18 sucked and Apple Intelligence was abysmal and do better with iOS 19. But that's my opinion. I want to know what you think in the comments down below. Till next time, I'm Jake, and this is Shot on my phone.